The wind howled across the snowfield like something alive, tearing through broken pines and dead silence. A man staggered forward through the whiteout, boots dragging, breath coming in sharp bursts. "Keep moving, just keep moving." A second figure followed behind him, half collapsed over a horse that barely stayed upright. Then came the rest. A small group, ragged, frozen, bleeding hope into the snow. "Dutch, I can't feel my fingers," one of them muttered. "You'll feel them again," a voice answered firmly. Calm, controlled. "All of you just stay together. We've been through worse than this." Dutch van der Linde rode at the center, coat flapping, eyes scanning the blizzard like he could command it into submission. Arthur Morgan rode slightly behind him, silent, watching, always watching. Ahead, a shape in the snow, barely there. "Cabin," someone shouted. The group surged forward. Inside the shack, it was worse before it got better. Bodies collapsed around a dying fire. Wet wood hissed and cracked as it fought to live. "Micah, get that fire going or I swear I'll throw you into it," Arthur muttered. "You always so cheerful, Arthur." Micah Bell grinned through chattering teeth. "Only when I'm stuck with you." Dutch stepped in between them before it could escalate. "We survive first, we argue later." Outside, something moved in the storm. Arthur noticed first. Quiet. The room froze. A distant scream cut through the wind. Then gunfire. Men outside shouting. "Pinkertons." The name hit the room like ice water. "Impossible," someone whispered. Arthur was already moving. "Get ready." The door burst open and chaos followed. Gunfire lit the snow in flashes. Men fell, shadows moved, horses screamed. "Go, go," Dutch shouted. Arthur grabbed his rifle, firing into the storm. A man dropped in the snow. Another stumbled forward, firing wildly. Inside, the gang scrambled for survival. "We're dead if we stay here," Bill yelled. "No one is dying," Dutch snapped back. But Arthur saw it differently. He always did. The escape was brutal. Through the snow, through collapsing horses, through panic and gunfire. A man fell behind. No one stopped. Arthur looked back once, then kept riding. Later, the storm finally broke. A pale sun rose over jagged mountains. The gang limped forward like ghosts who hadn't realized they were already dead. Then Dutch raised a hand. "Camp here." A frozen valley. A new beginning, or what passed for one. Days later, a fire crackled in a small settlement carved out of wilderness. "Coulter," someone said bitterly. "This is it," Pearson asked. "This is what we survived for." "Stop whining," Abigail snapped. "We're alive." "For now," Arthur muttered. Dutch stood above them, all like a preacher without a church. "We are going to be okay. The world is changing, but we are not finished. Not by a long shot." Micah laughed. "That's so, because it feels pretty finished to me." Arthur didn't look at him, but he listened. Always listened. Months passed like slow bleeding. The gang moved. Down from the mountains. Into warmer air. Into trouble. Horseshoe Overlook. A cliffside camp above a river that glittered like something pretending to be peaceful. People started to breathe again. But not Arthur. He worked. He hunted. He collected debts. "Debt don't disappear just because people are poor," Strauss told him. "Feels like it should," Arthur replied. "It doesn't." So Arthur went. House to house. Broken lives behind every door. A man coughing blood. A woman crying over empty shelves. A son staring at Arthur like he was death itself. Arthur always collected. Always left. But it stayed with him anyway. One evening, Arthur sat by the fire. John Marston approached, bruised and distant. "You ever think about walking away?" John asked. "Every day," Arthur answered. "But you don't." "No." A silence. "Then John, why?" Arthur looked into the fire. "Because I don't know what happens after." The world outside tightened. Lawmen Pinkertons, pressure closing in like a fist. And Dutch started talking more, planning more, believing more. "There's a big score coming," he said one night. "One last job and we are free." Hosea exhaled slowly. "That's what you said last time." Dutch smiled. "And I was right then too." Arthur didn't smile. He never liked one last job, because there was always another after that. Rhodes, a town rotting quietly in the heat. The Braithwaites and Grays, two families pretending they weren't already dead. Dutch saw opportunity. Arthur saw a trap. But they went anyway, because they always did. Gunfire in the fields, betrayal in the shadows, people dying for money they would never see. And then, Jack Marston taken, a child gone in the chaos. Everything shifted after that. St. Denis, the city of smoke and gold. Electric lights flickering like captured stars. Arthur stood on a balcony looking over it all. "This place ain't real," he muttered. Dutch adjusted his coat. "It's the future. It's a cage." Dutch didn't answer, because he was already thinking about the next job. The bank robbery went wrong before it even began. Shouting, bullets, glass exploding like thunder. "Move, move," Arthur screamed. But it was already over. Hosea went down, like a switch turning off the world. Dutch froze, just for a second, but Arthur saw it. That was the moment something inside him changed. After, the gang scattered. Fear replaced certainty. And in the silence that followed, Arthur started noticing things he had ignored for years. Dutch wasn't listening anymore. Micah was always there, always nearby, always talking, always pushing. And Arthur started asking questions no one wanted answered. A mountain shack, rain hitting the roof like punishment. Arthur stood across from Dutch. "You're losing it," Arthur said. Dutch's eyes narrowed. "I am building something. You're chasing ghosts. I am chasing freedom." Arthur stepped forward. "No, you're chasing yourself." Silence broke like glass between them. Something ended there. Quietly, irreversibly. Guame, fire sand chains. A world that didn't feel real. Arthur fighting through a war he never asked for. Running, surviving, bleeding into foreign soil. And when he finally escaped, he wasn't the same. Back in America, everything was worse. The gang was breaking apart like old wood in a storm. Arthur coughed blood into his hand one morning and stared at it too long. He didn't tell anyone. Not yet. Beaver Hollow. Dark caves. Echoes instead of hope. Dutch was different now. Quieter in the wrong ways. Micah stood closer. Too close. Arthur finally understood what he had been avoiding. It wasn't just failure. It was betrayal. "You've been talking to the Pinkertons," Arthur said. Micah smiled. "Careful now." Arthur stepped forward. "I'm done being careful." Gun drawn. Tension snapping like a wire. But nothing resolved. Not yet. Later, Arthur sat alone. John was gone. Dutch was slipping further away. And Arthur knew time was running out. So he rode, one last time through the land, he had ruined and been ruined by. Helping who he could, paying back what he could never repay. Final night. Firelight flickered in Beaver Hollow. Dutch stood above Arthur and Micah. No trust left. No truth left. Just men standing in the ruins of what they thought they were building. Then the shots came. Chaos. Betrayal fully exposed. Everything collapsing at once. Mountaintop. Arthur and Micah. Wind tearing through the world. Still thinking you're better than me, Micah sneered. Arthur coughed. I don't think I'm better than anybody. Then he fought. Not for glory. Not for money. Just because it was the last thing left to do. After, Arthur lay back. Sky above him. Cold light breaking through clouds. He breathed slower. Quieter. And somewhere far away, a life he once had faded into memory. Down below, John Marston rode away. Free. Not because the world became kind, but because Arthur made it possible. And the land kept going, as it always did. Indifferent. Endless. Alive.